if as Black women, we felt that we were not being represented and not being admired for our beauty, if we felt like that as Black women, why would we want to do that to other women? Amen. Why would we now need to make other people downplay their beauty so that we can feel, no, that's not how it works. I don't need someone with blonde hair and blue eyes to downplay their beauty because I know my beauty. Do you understand? It doesn't bother me that a woman feels and says that she's beautiful. Amen. Why shouldn't she feel that? Why have we gotten to a point where certain colors or certain kinds of people have to be afraid of loving themselves and loving the way they look? Like, isn't that wild? Yeah. And so for little girls, I don't want what was done to little Black girls done to little white girls. I don't want it done to any girls. I want all the little girls in the world to know that you are unique. You are beautiful. You are you. And you can compliment another girl. You can compliment another woman and still know that you are epic and amazing. So that's what I would say for the girls. And I know I know my adults understand clearly where I'm going with that, I don't like that. I don't like people making other people feel badly about themselves in any way. We need to nurture young girls. Yes, whether they are Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, they still need to be nurtured. They cannot continue to pay for other people's sins. They haven't done anything wrong. Amen.
Just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the Black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear.
Minaj. Are you dumb? You a pink diamond chicken wing chain. Are you dumb?
What's up, everyone? It's Books&Looks TV. I like to say that I do not intend to be xenophobic or diminish anyone personally. I'm just saying my opinions and my observations. And mostly my concern is how she attacked Black womanhood. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So Nicki Minaj has long functioned as a caricature, an exaggerated minstrel-like performance that many are only now beginning to interrogate. While it may feel overdue, late recognition is still recognition.
Black girl tragic. And it's Black bitches that do it the most. And I don't give a fuck if y'all mad at me using that fucking hashtag.
When Nicki first emerged, she was not widely taken seriously. Her persona was deliberately over the top, often paired with a self-conscious downplaying of her intelligence. And I remember my sister and I openly roasting her for lines like, "I ain't know the president lived in D.C.," delivered solely to force a Lewinsky bar. Over time, she did grow on me musically, particularly through her pop records and underground rap. But even then, it was clear that her brand was deeply problematic. Nicki was among the earliest and most unapologetic mainstream rappers to heavily promote plastic surgery, while simultaneously reinforcing anti-Black aesthetics and values rather than centering Black beauty. Her image relied on extreme body alteration and hypersexualization that catered to a narrow male and Eurocentric gaze. Today, I want to address her recent comments in her interview with Erica Kirk, specifically her claim that Black women are making white women feel insecure about their beauty. I reject that premise entirely. Moreover, I argue that Nicki Minaj has never meaningfully advocated for Black beauty. Instead, her legacy has largely been one of distortion, reshaping herself to be palatable, exaggerated, and consumable, rather than affirming Blackness in its natural form. Nicki Minaj's musical career began quietly in 2007 with a mixtape called Playtime Is Over. 5 years later, in April 2012, her second studio album, Pink Friday, Roman Reloaded debuted at #1 on iTunes, making her one of the best-selling female solo artists of all time. Born in 1982 in St. James, Trinidad, to parents of mixed Indian and Afro-Trinidadian ancestry, Minaj moved to Queens, New York at the age of 5, where she cultivated the peculiar personas for which she has become a global celebrity. On the cover of her first album, for example, Minaj appears as a dismembered Barbie doll, and she lovingly refers to her fans as Barbz. In addition to Harajuku Barbie, the star has adopted a slew of alter egos, ranging from the evil and male Roman Zelensky to the saint Nicki Teresa. Her rap style includes a lot of wobbly, wacky voices, foreign accents, grunt barks, horror movie screams, and doll squeaks that, as feminist blogger Eve Zimmerman notes, audience either love or hate. In her music videos also, Minaj embodies a range of characters. For instance, in quote-unquote Stupid Ho, the second single from Pink Friday, Roman Reloaded, the multiracial rapper appears as a pink-haired Barbie, a caged jungle cat, a blue-lipped native, and a freckled white girl. In other videos, she has played a geisha. For example, Your Love, a cyborg in Turn Me On, and perhaps most controversially, a monster in the song Monster. While it makes sense that all girls deserve nurture, Nicki really was just talking all over the place. It seemed performative and like she is adopting all lives matter rhetoric. Yes, she is a Black immigrant and who happens to be very male-centered. Not that all Black immigrants are like this, but a lot tend to have conservative values and collectively vote against the interests of Black people. The fact that she is talking to Erica Kirk using we as a pronoun is very strange. That's like talking to a white Republican about food deserts who are convinced that Black people don't eat vegetables. Basically, Erica Kirk doesn't care. Turning Point USA is basically fueling young white people to believe that they are not only endangered, but that they are not executing the full realm of their whiteness. As stated by Alex Perrine, Trumpism took the racial resentment that was always the only successful recruiting strategy of the college Republicans and fused it with the only lesson he ever internalized in his elite education. Complete irresponsibility is gloriously liberating. What unifies Trump's older base and his small core of young white devotees is the delight that they take in watching him get away with it. Trumpism's pitch to young white men is thus a sternly amoral sort of syllogism. We can't give you anything material because we stole it all and are hoarding it, but we can create a world in which you can regularly act on your worst impulses and get away with it. It's also important to look at the state of the United States and Trinidad relations. Author Erica Kane writes, Trinidad and Tobago's current crime crisis and state of emergency cannot be separated from the United States' political and military influence. Facing record levels of violence, the government has expanded police powers and militarized public security, a response shaped in part of the United States Southern Command, also known as SOUTHCOM. Through joint military exercises like Operation Trade Winds, the United States positions Trinidad as a strategic outpost in the Caribbean under the language of crime control, disaster relief, and regional stability. In reality, these partnerships reinforce the United States' dominance while limiting Trinidad's sovereignty. At the same time, neoliberal economic policies, privatization, reduced social spending, and foreign dependence have intensified inequality, unemployment, and social breakdown, creating conditions that fuel crime. Trinidad's energy sector dependence, including gas deals contingent on the United States approval, further exposes the country to external pressure. While the United States promotes militarized solutions, it also contributes to the problem through the export of firearms into the region. Together, economic dependency and security cooperation lock Trinidad into a cycle of control, repression, and limited self-determination. When we look at the bigger picture and what it means to sustain capitalism, American citizenship, and perhaps protect what is considered family, it is not very surprising that Nicki Minaj took this route. So now I'm going to play some public opinion and then I'm going to conclude.
So I'm going to say something, and I know a lot of people is not going to like this, but I don't care. If you like Nicki Minaj and love her music and fuck with her the heavy way, stay the fuck away from me. Stay away from me. Y'all are just as bad as like Gen X with R. Kelly with that shit. She's married to a rapist. Protects pedos on a grand scale. Her brother, her colleagues, protects them. even went through to harass her husband's victim. And then want to correct the motherfucker when they be like, oh, her husband is a pedo. That's how R. Kelly was able to get away with what he got away with for so long. Because people was like, oh, he can make good music, so we'll just overlook this. Being
a black immigrant rapper and a Trump supporter is crazy. It's crazy. It sounds crazy. Like, if you would have told me 10 years ago that Nicki Minaj would be on Twitter supporting Trump, I would have called you a liar. I would have called you a liar. But no, it's actually happening. Unbelievable. And then it's like she's slowly making it her identity, because I just went to her page, and while she got like 3 Trump tweets like back to back, like, girl. And I love Nicki, like, I'll forever love Nicki. She'll always have a place in my heart, but it's just like, it's too much. It's way too much. Like, supporting that man, and he hates your whole entire fan base, and you too. Like, and as someone that's been supporting her since 2010, it hurts to even see all of this happening. Like, what in the hell is going on?
So, Nicki Minaj does not represent me as a Black American. She does not represent me as a Black American woman. To the immigrant community, you all are going to have to take this L. You all are going to have to, unpack and unlearn your worshiping of whiteness, of the dominant culture. Because my people have made a lot of progress in defining who we are as Black Americans. The cooning, we don't do that. So yeah, this is a problem that, the immigration community has to figure out, why you all have this belief that you are somehow less than white people. I don't know where you all get that from, but that's not a Black American issue. So with going on with Nicki Minaj is not our issue. And also Erica Kirk, she's prepping. She's going to be running for some political office. That's next for her. This is all a game. This is all to get us prepped for the next, presidential cycle, election cycle. Also, to the Barbz, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know you all are feeling confused, but I want you to know that never worship or expect the best out of any celebrity. Celebrities will always let you down. Why? Because they're human, just like you, and they're also having the human experience. So never worship any celebrity. Always know that you don't need Nicki. You don't need anybody. You're enough. So, yeah.
Did everybody watch this? Did you see the part where she basically says that she's a Republican? Like, Nicki Minaj, did you forget that you were not born in America? That you are from Trinidad and Tobago? The place where Donald Trump is bombing in the Caribbean, where he's just blowing those fishermen up? Maybe some of those people are drug runners, I don't know. But, that's pretty close to Grenada, where they, killed all those people. The U.S. Army killed them. So, do you remember that it's these guys? These guys are the ones that, I don't know, maybe somebody that you know from Trinidad and Tobago could be on one of those boats that they're killing. I'm not trying to make fun of this, but this is the craziest thing I've seen all week. That this lady, who is from the Caribbean, has seemed to forget that a lot of people who live in Trinidad and Tobago are mixed race people. They're like me. They're either Caribs or Arawaks, or they're have some sort of mixed race background that's Spanish and Black. And yeah, that's where they go fishing. So it could be one of your distant relatives that could be blown up by the United States in a fishing boat. Oh, by the way, this is her at the meeting for Turning Point America. Like, what? Spending too much time in New York. You don't remember where you come from.
Nicki Minaj tells black women to stop attacking white women.
If as black women, we felt we're not being represented and not being admired for our beauty, if we felt like that as black women, why would we want to do that to other women? Why would we now need to make other people downplay their beauty so that we can feel, no, that's not how it works. I don't need someone with blonde hair and blue eyes to downplay their beauty because I know my beauty.
Nicki Minaj is a raccoon. First of all, to bring black women in it is crazy. Shut up. See, when you go to sleep with a RAPIST every night, I think you lose brain cells. Let's talk about this administration and what this administration has done to black women. Literally, before we even got to half the year, 300,000 black women found themselves unemployed. Black women are out here talking about employment. We don't care about what blonde hair and blue-eyed people are doing. We do not care. We're talking about us and being able to feed our families. More than 300,000 black women lost jobs this year. Did y'all see the government shutdown? Maybe Nicki Minaj doesn't know that there was a whole government shutdown. Let me give you guys some facts. When it comes to the government, 19% of government workers are black people. 19%. Of the 19% of black people who work within the federal government, 12% are black women. So when Trump shut down the government, that was a direct attack on us. Y'all crying about that 300,000? I'm gonna make y'all cry some more. Do you know what the percentage is of black households where black women are the breadwinners? 69%. You think black women care about white women's beauty? We're trying to feed our families.
You know, I just want to say that it don't matter what we, and when I say we, I mean black women. It don't matter what we do. We can be minding our business. We can be asleep. Hell, black women can be dead. And we are still being looked at as the villain in situations, and I just don't understand why. And I guess it's because this whole situation with Nicki, when she went on Turning Point USA and said that, you know what, let me just put the clip in.
If as black women, we felt that we were not being represented and not being admired for our beauty, if we felt like that as black women, why would we want to do that to other women? Why would we now need to make other people downplay their beauty so that we can feel, no, that's not how it works. I don't need someone with blonde hair and blue eyes to downplay their beauty because I know my beauty. Do you understand? It doesn't bother me that a woman feels and says that she's beautiful. Why shouldn't she feel that? Why have we gotten to a point where certain colors or certain kinds of people have to be afraid of loving themselves and loving the way they look?
Quite frankly, I think she said a whole bunch of nothing. But I just feel like, what we got to do with this? We as black women didn't go and Turning Point USA. You did. Why you gotta bring us in that? You know, and I'm just like, I just don't understand. Why do black women gotta be the butt end of the joke every single time? And it's like, Nicki, like, you're not wanted here either, babe. I don't understand the plot. I don't understand what chess moves she's trying to make, because it's just like, it does not make any type of sense. None whatsoever. I mean, don't get me wrong, in every life I would want to be black. I want to be a woman. It's amazing. However, it just comes with so much. It's so tiring. But hey, it costs to be great sometimes.
Nicki Minaj's appearance on Erica Kirk's launch tour isn't really that surprising when you understand how rap music has been used to be weaponized against black people since its divergence from hip hop. So Nicki Minaj is really just following suit. Now, there is irony in Nicki Minaj being on Erica Kirk's launch tour, especially considering that Charlie Kirk very explicitly stated that Nicki Minaj was not a good role model and that for 18-year-old girls, there's also the reality that Nicki Minaj has some legal troubles. And as early as recently as January of 2025, and I'm not sure about her citizenship status, but Nicki is Trini. Nicki Minaj is from Trinidad and Tobago, so she's not even an American citizen. So I could see a variation of a conversation that was had with her where her citizenship and ability to stay and remain in the United States was threatened. There's also the possibility that, as we see with a lot of major mainstream artists, especially in hip hop rap genres, that Nicki might not have the money that we think she does. She might be in debt currently. She might be broke and might have needed the money. She could have been leveraged for her citizenship or debts or any other thing that this administration and its supporters are willing to do to people to maintain and gain power. And there's also the possibility that she just decided to sell out. There's also a really interesting ironic twist in a tweet sent from Candace Owens showing a conversation between her and Charlie Kirk where Charlie is literally reciting Nicki's verse on Monster in the text, stating that he's going to go run and get a great workout to Nicki and Monster. So applying a critical thinking lens, right? There's a lot of different ways to think about this. We don't really know what really happened. We don't know what happened behind closed doors. We don't know the deal that was made. We don't know threats that were made or promises. We have no idea. All we know is that we saw Nicki on stage with Erica Kirk. I also saw Nicki drop Assassin.
And you have amazing role models like the assassin J.D. Vance, our vice president.
I also saw Nicki comment on how handsome Donald Trump is and J.D. Vance. So,
dear young men, you have amazing role models like our handsome, dashing president.
Some of this feels like it could be coerced because I can't imagine Nicki Minaj sincerely wrote for herself in her speech about how handsome Donald Trump or J.D. Vance is. But, you never know. And that's the beauty of it. You never know. But there's some interesting pieces there. But I'm not at all surprised. I mean, the current rap genre is literally selling out your people and your culture. So none of this is surprising. All these dots very closely connect as far as I'm concerned.
In the context of a Eurocentric society, the reproduction of whiteness is contingent on a hegemonic normativity specific to the regulation of white women. Heterosexual normativity is first and foremost about white patriarchal production of a white feminine ideal. Looking at Western representations of the feminine ideal from antiquity to the present one encounters modifications in the standards over time. In contemporary Western culture, the regime of feminine regulation centers on a universal, homogenized ideal of beauty that encapsulates the dominance of a Western beauty aesthetic represented by, for example, the Barbie doll or the countless variations of idealized white feminine beauty. Thus, I think it's very disingenuous for Nicki to pretend that white women are silenced to downplay their beauty, when Erica Kirk herself is on stage largely because she meets white women beauty standards. Not only has Nicki also benefited from light skin privilege, but she has often presented herself as a minstrel show, an animated rapper who not only disrespects Black leaders like Malcolm X, but the identity of Black women. Lastly, I think a lot of Black Americans undermine our privilege and what colonialism has done to many. Though we don't deserve to be disrespected, the quality of life for many immigrants in their home country has left them desperate to do anything within proximity to whiteness. The idea of being American is thus anti-Blackness. And that is not only distancing yourself from your home country as an illustration for exceptionalism, but adhering into white supremacy in the land of quote-unquote opportunity, basically America. And honestly, I would think that Nicki Minaj would have found a better way to obtain her citizenship and become naturalized, or at least hired an immigration attorney. However, she seemed to take the laziest route, and basically that's shit on black womanhood and kiki with hateful political rhetoric. So what are your thoughts? Let me know down below. And thank you so much for listening to Books and Looks TV. Make sure you like, comment, and hype up this video. I'll see y'all next time.